This is the review for the Chapter 6 Quiz 1. In the first 4 questions, you have to identify whether it is a translation, dilation, reflection, or rotation. Remember that a translation, the S and L in translation stands for slide. All that you're doing is moving a picture from one place to another place. A dilation makes things bigger or smaller. A reflection is that mirror opposite image. And a rotation turns a picture. So when you take a look at 1, 2, 3, and 4, you have to decide what is going on in each picture. In question number 1, you can clearly see that the triangle is being turned. So this is a rotation. In question number 2, the little man is sliding, either sliding to the left or sliding to the right, but it's just sliding. The size is not changing. The shape is not changing. It's just moving from one place to another place. So this is a translation. In question number 3, the triangle gets bigger or smaller. So this is a dilation. And in question number 4, you have that flipped opposite mirror image. So this is a reflection. You can tell that this is a reflection and not a translation because of the line of symmetry here in the middle. And also, if you take a look at the letters are opposite. If they were the same, it would just be sliding from one place to another place, but the letters are opposite. In question number 5, you have to write the rule to describe the translation. So for example, your answers are going to look like this: how many left or right you're going, and how many up or down you're going. Remember that you always go from the letter to the same letter prime. So just pick a letter and go from that letter to the same letter prime. I'm going to go from A to A prime. So notice that I'm going 1, 2 places to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places down. So I'm going right 2 and down 5. If you said down 5 and right 2, you would not be wrong. All right, but you would be wrong if you said left 2 and up 5. If you said left 2 and up 5, you'd be going from the prime to the letter instead of the letter to the prime. So just be careful. And you could have chosen D to D prime. 1, 2 places to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down. You could have chosen C to C prime. You could have done B to B prime. They'll all be the same. Question number 6, the same type of question. Remember, you want to go from the letter to the same letter prime. So like A to A prime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places to the left and 1 up. So left 5, up 1. And again, you could have chosen B to B prime or C to C prime. They'll all be the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 1. In questions number 7 and 8, you need to draw the translation. You need to label it with primes, and you need to write down the coordinates. When you write down the coordinates, remember you always have to have parentheses and a comma. The first number inside the parentheses is how many you go over. The second number is how many you go up or down. So when we take a look at it, they give you the rule. They're giving you the rule of right 2 and up 3. So starting with A, you're going to go right 2, 1, 2, and then up 3, 1, 2, 3. This is our new A prime. I would label it right away. Starting at B, following the rule, 1, 2 to the right, up 1, 2, 3. This is our new B prime. And then starting at C, right 2, 1, 2, up 1, 2, 3. This is our new C prime. Connect the dots to form your triangle. And now we have to say what the coordinates are. Notice that that triangle is the same exact shape. It's the same exact size. It's just slid to a different area. It's 2 tall, 2 tall, 3 wide, 3 wide. So A, when you go to say your points, remember that you always start right here in the middle. So starting from this orange dot, you're going over to 1, up to 6. B prime, starting in the middle, over to -2, up to +4. And with C prime, you're going over to 1, up to 4. So we drew our new picture, we labeled it with primes, and we wrote down the coordinates. In question number 8, you're going left 3. So starting at D, 1, 2, 3, down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my new D prime. Starting at E, 1, 2, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. This is my new E prime. Starting at F, 1, 2, 3 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. This is my new F prime. Connect the dots to form your triangle. Notice that it's the same exact size, same exact shape. It's just slid down to another area. So where is D at? Remember, when you go to do your coordinates, you always have to start right here in the middle. The first number is how many you go over. Second number is how many you go up or down. So starting at the orange dot, we're going over to -3, up to 0. So -3, 0. In letter E prime, starting in the middle, over to -5, down to -3. And F prime, starting in the middle, over to -1, down to -3. So we drew our picture, we labeled it with primes, and we wrote down the coordinates. In the last section, you have to do a dilation. So when you go to do a dilation, whatever the scale factor is, that's what we have to multiply by. So we are multiplying by 1/2. 1/2, remember, as a decimal, top divided by bottom, 1 divided by 2 is really 0.5. Or you could just think about it as taking half of the number. So I like to write my coordinates right underneath the original ones. That way I don't skip any, and I just can keep my work nice and neat and organized. So when we go to multiply, you're multiplying by 0.5. So -6, half of -6 is -3. Half of 4 is 2. Half of -6 is -3. Half of -4 is -2. Half of 2 is 1. Half of -4 is -2. So we have to graph two pictures. You have to draw your original one and draw your new picture. So -6 over to -6, up to +4. Here's my first dot. -6, -4, over to -6, down to -4. And 2, -4, over to 2, down to -4. So here's my original triangle. You don't have to label these because they don't have letters. Now for my new triangle, my first one is -3, -2. So over to -3, up to +2. -3, -2, over to -3, down to -2. And 1, -2, over to 1, down to -2. Connect the dots. And there is your new triangle. Notice that it is half the size of the original because we multiplied by 1/2. So the bottom was 8 wide. Now the bottom is 4 wide. The height was 8 tall. Now the height is 4 tall. It is half the size of the original. And in our last question, so this time we want a scale factor of 2. Remember, the scale factor is what you multiply by. So we want to multiply all of these numbers by 2. So -30 becomes -60. -32 becomes -6, -4, because we're multiplying by 2. 0, 0 is sort of weird. 0, 0, 0 times 2 is just 0. So 0, 0 becomes 0, 0. And 0, -2 becomes 0, -4 when we multiply each of those by 2. Our original picture, over to -3, up to 0. -3, -2. 0, 0, and 0, -2. Here's our original picture. It is a nice rectangle. Then our new picture, -6, 0, over to -6. Now there's no -6 there, but -6 comes after -5. So over to -6, up to 0, -6, -4, 0, 0, and 0, -4. Here's our new rectangle. Sometimes the pictures do overlap. Not a bad thing. It just happens sometimes. So notice that our original rectangle was 2 by 3. And now our new rectangle is 4 by 6 because we multiplied by 2. It's double the size of the original, where our previous one we multiplied by 1/2, so it was half the size of the original. Be very careful. A common mistake is to only graph one of them. Remember, you have to graph both of the pictures. So all of these lessons come from 6.1 to 6.4. Please make sure that you're very, very careful with the points that you graph.